Masculinity protects the feminine side. True masculinity does not forget who he is, does not get caught up in the feminine side where he loses himself, that he transforms into something else. A masculinity is a person who protects the feminine side, like the Holy Grail. Now, feminine energy has always been part of creativity, part of art. A lot of the feminine side comes from creativity and the ability to express oneself. Now, true art, real art that you see in the world, was always a balance between masculinity and feminine, yin and yang. This is what I learned about martial arts. You know, I just got my ass beat down in the streets because my masculinity got too strong. So I got my ass kicked because the fire of my mouth came out, and I was having such a good time in the club dancing. Came out, some fire came out of my mouth, and got beat down by three guys. Beat me down. I couldn't fight because I didn't want to fight because the feminine side said, "Don't fight these guys. Just take the hits." So I did, and I got my ass kicked. I didn't want to fight because physically I stopped that a long time ago. So I got my ass kicked. But anyway, that's another story. Masculinity was always about protecting the feminine side. And that's what a lot of the 12 nights, if you ever heard about the 12 nights, for me the 12 nights were always the ones who protect the Holy Grail, which was, Jesus, the divine essence of oneself, what we're all looking for. The Holy Grail is not a physical object. You can call it energy, but it's really the true essence of what's inside yourself. Now, masculinity was to protect the feminine side of oneself, not to let the feminine side control the masculinity where men start becoming bitches. Now, to balance oneself, one needs each other. Sometimes a man has to walk the journey on his own, has to walk alone to find oneself, to find the man of who he really is, to find the soul of his true connection with God. First God, and then whatever else. But God comes first. Most people don't believe in God. Most people don't like the word God. But I still choose the word God. And I'm not going to get into explanations about God and all that stuff, because I know what God is. So I can do that another video. But true masculinity was always to protect the feminine side of oneself, not to let the feminine side control the masculinity. Because masculinity is what we see in the world. We've been seeing that for so many years. And that masculinity energy has always been controlling the world with power and greed and all that. And I guess, when this masculinity is too strong, the feminine side has to come and kind of nurture that side and bring that softness, but with strength, gentle but strong, strong with power, but not power where they go out there and destroy human lives like they're nothing. A true masculinity protects human life, protects those around him, does not get consumed and corrupted by a world that is full of masculinity, because true masculinity was always made to protect the feminine side of oneself. That's what true Jesus, I believe, teached. I believe Jesus picked God first and then the feminine. Where most men get weak at the feminine, they give it all to the feminine and they lose themselves in that feminine energy. Where Jesus, where Jesus, where Jesus focus on the Father, the kingdom of heaven. So masculinity was always about not losing oneself, using that masculinity to protect. Because a true masculinity, a true man does not go out there, punching on, causing chaos. Now and then a man can go out there, be a gangster, be tough and be macho. But there comes a time where a man has to be the one who protects the feminine. That's what I feel, because that's what I've learned. And that's what I've learned in martial arts. It's all about how you think and what you think. So that's all I gotta say. Peace.